According to the latest news from Fox News, on December 14, an unprecedented gust of wind swept through the small city of Scotts Valley in Northern California, USA. Disturbing sirens rang throughout the Bay Area at 5:51 a.m., alerting residents of the impending unusual disaster. According to analysis by the National Weather Service, the tornado was classified as an EF1 level, which is one of the weaker levels. But even so, the destructive power it unleashed in just a few minutes was enough to frighten people. The weather department estimated that the maximum wind speed of this cyclone was as high as 90 miles per hour, which was enough to overturn moving cars, break strong trees, and even drag down telephone poles to the ground. When the tornado swept through, the entire urban area of Scotts Valley suddenly fell into chaos. The once bustling commercial street is now littered with scattered debris and tilted telegraph poles. The parking lot in front of Target, a large supermarket, has become a display of overturned cars. Some cars were overturned by the strong wind, with their windows broken and their hoods deformed. Others were blown completely out of place and scattered on both sides of the road. In addition, the tornado also knocked down many telephone poles on both sides of the street. The hanging wires were tangled and entangled, creating a messy scene everywhere. These broken power lines not only cut off the power supply to the entire area, but also brought great difficulties to subsequent repair work. This violent cyclone also caused serious damage to shops and houses along the street. The exterior walls of some buildings suffered cracks and collapse, and their roofs were torn off in the strong winds. Many glass doors and windows were shattered to pieces by the strong wind. The once orderly commercial district is now in ruins, which makes people feel horrified. Seeing the familiar streets turned into a mess in an instant, those who witnessed it were all frightened. Witnesses recalled that they only heard a roar, and then saw the car being overturned to the ground like a toy. The telephone poles were tilted and swaying and could fall down at any time. The strong wind stirred up dust, and the whole air was filled with an uneasy atmosphere. This unexpected destruction undoubtedly made everyone feel helpless and panicked. In just a few minutes, this unstoppable natural rage completely destroyed the peace and tranquility of Scotts Valley. Instead, there were devastated ruins and debris scattered everywhere. Everyone couldn't believe how this familiar neighborhood could be reduced to such a mess in an instant. This sudden tornado undoubtedly cast a shadow on this small town and left indelible trauma. Although the intensity of this tornado only reached the EF1 level, its destructive power still caused heavy casualties to the small town of Scotts Valley. According to local police, at least 5 people were injured in this raging natural disaster, and 2 of the more seriously injured people were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Scotts Valley Police Chief Scott Garner described in detail what happened to the injured. He said most of the injured were injured by cars that were overturned or moved by the tornado. One injured patient suffered a fractured rib and a punctured lung and is receiving emergency treatment in the hospital. Although the other 2 injured patients were also sent to the hospital, their condition was relatively better, with only skin injuries, and they were discharged later that day. However, 2 other injured patients chose to undergo simple treatment at the scene and refused to be hospitalized. Garner said most of the injuries suffered by these people were minor injuries, such as scrapes and bruises. But even so, the shock and psychological trauma they suffered are probably indescribable. Sadly, among the victims of this tornado was a CAL FIRE employee engaged in rescue work. It is reported that when the strong wind swept through, the battalion chief of the fire station who was on duty also suffered a disaster. His vehicle was completely overturned. Fortunately, he only suffered skin injuries and his life was not in danger. Thank you for liking, leaving comments, subscribing and turning on the little bell. We will update every day. Under the ravages of this sudden tornado, the small town of Scotts Valley was plunged into darkness. The strong winds destroyed power poles and cables, causing the entire area to lose power instantly. According to local utility tracker poweroutage.us, more than 8,800 customers in Santa Cruz County were without power on Saturday night after the tornado, which had a heavy impact on the lives of residents here. Both sides of Mount Herman Road, the main thoroughfare in Scotts Valley, were littered with broken utility poles and tangled cables. The violent cyclone not only uprooted them, but also completely cut off the local power supply. In the darkness, this street looked particularly desolate, with only sporadic flashlight lights swaying in the night. The impact was not limited to the urban area of Scotts Valley. Tens of thousands of residents in surrounding areas, including Monterey and other cities, unfortunately fell into a power outage. The local government said that more than 40,000 public utility users temporarily lost power supply. The small town of Mill Valley, about 14 miles north of San Francisco, was also hit by this major storm. Severe flooding occurred and many cars were trapped. It is reported that the entire region's power grid has been severely damaged. In addition to the overturned power poles, many transformers and other transmission equipment were also damaged in the strong winds. As you can imagine, this vast area from Scotts Valley to Monterey to Mill Valley was instantly plunged into darkness. In just a few minutes, the entire small town of Scotts Valley was reduced to a lightless place. For local residents, this is undoubtedly an extremely disturbing and scary experience. In this dark environment, people can't turn on the lights to keep warm, and they can't get the familiar light again. This state of isolation and lack of light can't help but make people feel scared and helpless. As night falls, this desperate atmosphere continues to spread. People may be able to see the destructive power of this tornado clearly in the wreckage during the day, but at night, this sense of irreparable trauma fills everyone's heart with anxiety. The streets that have lost their brightness also make people uneasy about the future. Under the ravages of the tornado, the main roads in the small town of Scotts Valley were also severely damaged. The strong wind not only overturned cars on the road, but also completely destroyed telephone poles and signs on the roadside, causing the entire road to be completely blocked. According to local police, Mount Hermon Road was the most severely affected area. This main road leading to the city center was once completely blocked by broken telephone poles and overturned vehicles. In addition to this, some other branch roads have also been damaged to varying degrees, turning the entire town into an isolated island. The Scotts Valley Police Department posted on social media that authorities had to cordon off the entire area due to various obstacles on the road. They urged residents to avoid the area as any vehicles trying to enter could be put in danger. If we want to restore road traffic as soon as possible, we will undoubtedly need to invest a lot of manpower and material resources. The first step is to clear debris from the road, including overturned vehicles, broken telephone poles and other debris. Next, damaged roads will be repaired and collapsed signs and lights will be repaired. For power lines that have been completely cut off, the power company also needs to spend a lot of time repairing them. In this mess, the work of rescuers has become particularly difficult. Not only do they have to find a way to enter the disaster area through blocked roads, they also need to carefully clean up and repair in a dangerous environment. Many public facilities, such as power supplies and traffic lights, have been paralyzed due to damage, making repairs more difficult. In addition, it is difficult for the injured car owners to get their cars back. Cars overturned or moved by the tornado were scattered on the roads. People had to wait for police and crews to have a chance to clear the roads before they could find their cars again. This not only brings great inconvenience to local residents' daily travel, but also casts a shadow on rescue and rescue operations. According to local police, Mount Hermon Road was the most severely affected area. This main road leading to the city center was once completely blocked by broken telephone poles and overturned vehicles. In addition to this, some other branch roads have also been damaged to varying degrees, turning the entire town into an isolated island. The Scotts Valley Police Department posted on social media that authorities had to cordon off the entire area due to various obstacles on the road. They urged residents to avoid the area as any vehicles trying to enter could be put in danger. If we want to restore road traffic as soon as possible, we will undoubtedly need to invest a lot of manpower and material resources. The first step is to clear debris from the road, including overturned vehicles, broken telephone poles and other debris. Next, damaged roads will be repaired and collapsed signs and lights will be repaired. For power lines that have been completely cut off, the power company also needs to spend a lot of time repairing them. In this mess, the work of rescuers has become particularly difficult. Not only do they have to find a way to enter the disaster area through blocked roads, they also need to carefully clean up and repair in a dangerous environment. Many public facilities, such as power supplies and traffic lights, have been paralyzed due to damage, making repairs more difficult. Although this sudden tornado caused huge damage to the small town of Scotts Valley, the local emergency rescue department responded quickly. firefighters, police and medical forces immediately launched emergency rescue operations. According to witnesses at the scene, local police and firefighters rushed to the affected area the moment the tornado raged. Regardless of their own safety, they rushed into the mess and tried to rescue residents in danger. The Scotts Valley Police Department confirmed that they immediately dispatched police officers to the scene after receiving a large number of emergency calls. Their first priority is to ensure injured residents receive assistance. As you can imagine, this emergency rescue team is currently shuttling through the dilapidated streets, desperately searching for trapped or injured people. At the same time, the local fire department also joined the rescue effort. They carry first aid equipment and tools and go everywhere to provide help. Many firefighters also personally transported injured residents to nearby hospitals. It is reported that at least 5 people were injured in the disaster, 2 of whom were seriously injured. All injured patients have been sent to the hospital for treatment. After ensuring the safety of the injured, rescuers must actively cooperate with the power company in emergency repair work. Their first task is to clear obstacles on the road to ensure smooth passage of rescue vehicles and emergency repair vehicles. In addition, they will instruct residents to evacuate to safe areas away from damaged buildings. This heroic emergency rescue team undoubtedly rushed to the disaster scene as soon as possible. Regardless of their own safety, they took the lead in this emergency rescue. In this mess, they desperately searched for trapped people, sent the injured to the hospital in time, and helped repair the broken power system. This valuable spirit is undoubtedly admirable. In the face of this sudden tornado, reconstruction work in Scotts Valley is urgent. Various local departments are going all out to carry out subsequent repairs and restoration. The first thing to bear the brunt is the emergency repair operation of the power company. Due to the massive power outage caused by the tornado, the entire town was plunged into darkness. Only by restoring power supply as soon as possible can we provide the necessary basic guarantee for subsequent rescue and reconstruction work. It is understood that PG&E immediately mobilized a large number of workers to the disaster site for emergency repairs. Their mission is to repair damaged transmission lines and transformer equipment. Amid the chaos, they must carefully clean up the power poles and cables that were knocked down by the storm and restore power as soon as possible. Not only that, they also have to repair the damaged roads in a short time. Because only by ensuring the smooth flow of roads can other emergency repair vehicles and emergency rescue vehicles reach their destination areas smoothly. This is undoubtedly an arduous task that requires a lot of manpower, material resources, and mechanical equipment. PG&E said it is working hard to fix the problem. According to preliminary estimates, approximately 8,800 households and shops were affected by the power outage. Restoring power supply to all users will be their top priority. At the same time, the Scotts Valley Municipal Government also mobilized various departments to participate in the subsequent cleanup and restoration work. Their first priority is to clear debris that blocks road access. From overturned vehicles to broken street lights and signs, all obstacles need to be cleared as quickly as possible. In addition, they have to repair the damaged road ahead of this disruption. Many roads have developed a large number of potholes and cracks and must be repaired to ensure the normal movement of traffic. Only in this way can emergency rescue and follow-up engineering vehicles pass through this area smoothly. When the disaster first occurred, Scotts Valley Mayor Robert Scott immediately issued a statement calling on all citizens to remain calm. He said that all emergency departments have entered full combat readiness and are going all out to carry out rescue operations. We will do our best to ensure that all affected residents and businesses receive timely assistance. This is a difficult time, but as long as we work together, we will overcome this. The local police and fire department also rushed into the rescue work. They rushed to the disaster site immediately to ensure that obstacles on the road were cleared in time to allow other rescue forces to enter smoothly. At the same time, medical staff are also preparing at the hospital, waiting to treat possible injuries. While the emergency departments were busy responding, ordinary citizens of Scotts Valley were also lending a helping hand. Many residents organized themselves and actively participated in the reconstruction work. Some people volunteered tools and equipment to help clear the roads. Others took the initiative to resettle victims who had been forced to flee their homes, providing food and temporary accommodation. A local resident named Emily said, "In the face of such a catastrophe, we must unite to help each other. As a member of the community, we all have the responsibility to lend a helping hand and do our best to help those who have suffered losses. Only in this way can we rebuild our homes and return to our old lives faster." At the same time, the local business community is also actively involved in post-disaster reconstruction. Some shops voluntarily gave up opening their doors for business and instead devoted themselves to emergency repair work. It is reported that a chain catering company called Monterey Garden immediately organized employees to go to the disaster site to provide meals for on-site staff and victims. This sudden tornado attack is undoubtedly the most serious natural disaster that the small town of Scotts Valley has ever experienced. This ferocious wind not only destroyed a large number of buildings in a few minutes, but also caused serious damage to roads, electricity, and other infrastructure. For local residents who have never experienced such a horrific scene, this is undoubtedly a huge psychological trauma. The occurrence of such extreme weather events has once again aroused people's alarm about climate change. Meteorological experts point out that as climate instability intensifies, such rare but extremely destructive tornadoes may occur more frequently in the future. This will not only threaten the safety of coastal cities, but may also endanger the lives of residents in inland areas. How to respond to and prevent this rare but extremely dangerous natural disaster has undoubtedly become an important issue that all sectors of society must face squarely. The government and relevant departments must increase meteorological monitoring and early warning capabilities, issue early warning information as early as possible, and provide residents with more time to prepare for escape. At the same time, the emergency rescue system must be further improved to ensure that post-disaster reconstruction work can be advanced in an orderly manner.